A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our esteemed guest.
Good evening.
So, first announcement is from our BPM. So, over to you, Toastmaster Apoorva.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. The renewal for the upcoming term, that is April to September, has come to an end. We have successfully we have had 33 successful renewals out of the 44 members, which is around 75% is what we have achieved. I would like to congratulate each and every member who is renewed for the upcoming term. And would also like to wish each and every member all the very best for the Toastmaster journey. And thank you, and over to the Senate President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Apoorva. The second announcement is on behalf of our VPE, Toastmaster Sindhushri, regarding the role taker update for the next week. So, for April 7th, the two prepared speech slots has been booked, one by Toastmaster Vaibhav and one by Toastmaster Sudeep. And G role has been booked by Toastmaster Latha, and all the other roles are open. So I request everyone to contact Sindhushri for the same. So that's all from the business. One more update is we have our Club Grow Director of District 121, DTM Nitasha Kumar, with us today. So welcome to Thank you for joining us today. So with that, that's all from the business session. The Sergeant can take over.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests.
Good evening.
Let me take you back to the 1950s of Paris. This was a time when fashion and haute couture was at its peak. Some of the bigger names in the fashion industry at that time were Christian Dior, who's a household name right now. But his brand wasn't as big. So he was already established, and what he did was he took a young man under the name of Yves Saint Laurent under his mentorship. He was able to guide him, and he taught him the ins and outs of everything that fashion had to do. Now, when Christian Dior died, it was Yves Saint Laurent who took the company to greater heights. And when he moved out of the company, he started his own brand, which arguably even became even bigger than Christian Dior. Now, why am I saying this is because we need mentors in life, people who can guide us, who can show us what the path is, because these are people who've done everything, seen it all, done it all. In my life, I have my mentors. One is my grandfather, and the other is my English teacher from school. So I admire these people because they have charted a path for me which I feel like I've taken and I've done well so far. Now, coming to why I'm saying this, today is a special session at our club where we have an education session by one of our distinguished Toastmasters, Toastmaster AKP sir. And this will be an education session and where we learn from and try to learn how to craft speeches and be better at communication. So to give better and more details of this, I'd like to invite our president. She is a BCom graduate, currently pursuing her MBA from Christ University. She likes to do mandala art, she likes dancing and reading in her free time. So please everyone give a round of applause for our President Toastmaster Pavani.
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhu. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening. I request our Secretary Toastmaster Shreya to read out the minutes of meeting of previous meeting.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1310 held on the 24th of March 2025. The theme was Invest in You and the word of the week was effervescent. The business session started at 6:23 p.m. and it was chaired by Acting President Toastmaster Sindhushri. In the business session, the following points were addressed. Toastmaster Sindhushri announced that the next meeting would be held on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 instead of Monday, 31st March as it's a national holiday. She also announced that we would be having an education session during the next meeting conducted by DTM Prabhakara and encouraged members to attend this session. She also reminded members to renew their membership for the term April to September 2025 and share a screenshot of this payment to the VPM and the Treasurer of our club. The regular meeting started at 6:24 p.m. Acting Sergeant-at-Arms Toastmaster Shreya started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over charge to Acting President Toastmasters Sindhushri. Acting President Toastmasters Sindhushri opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Latha. Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Latha spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Sudeep, R-Counter Toastmaster Das, PP Evaluator Toastmaster Gajendra and Grammarian Toastmaster Vaibhav. The prepared speech session had 3 speakers, Toastmaster Madhusudan, Toastmaster Jia and Toastmaster Shiva. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Rachana and it had 8 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Lalana. The winners of the week were Best Speaker Toastmaster Shiva, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Chetan, Best Table Topic Speaker Toastmaster Saket, Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Lalana, Best Role Taker Tapchi Toastmaster Das. The acting president closed the meeting at 8:48 p.m., which was then followed by the national anthem. Thank you and back to the president.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shreya. Are there any amendments for the minutes of meeting? If not, I shall consider it as accepted and open meeting number 1301. All of us here have struggled to come up with a speech topic at some point of the time or other, right? Yeah, I know, I have. I remember sitting down in front of my laptop screen, thinking what to speak about, thinking that some idea might click, but nothing. Then I remembered something. I remembered one of our members, Toastmaster Sushrut, who gave an insightful, hilarious speech on drumstick. And there was another past member of ours, Toastmaster Ajay, who gave a speech who spoke about water, something that we use on a daily basis. So, he could think of a topic from just water. That's the beauty of Toastmasters. It teaches us there's nothing something like ordinary or something like that. With something ordinary, we can make an extraordinary speech also. This is exactly why Ralph C. Smedley started Toastmasters 100 years ago. He realized that people needed a space to practice communication and refine their ideas. Not just in speaking, but also in leadership. From one small meeting in Santa Ana, California, to a worldwide network of 280,000 members across 148 countries with 14,200 plus clubs, he started Toastmasters. And this continues to help everyone to find their voice and refine their skills. The more we speak, the more we refine our speaking skills. But how can we speak if we don't know what to speak about? That's exactly why today's session is crucial. This is the 5th education session we are hosting. Each of our past sessions has added immense value to our members. So DTM Udanka had helped us explore the pathways. DTM Pratik showed us how to create super presentations. DTM Kishore helped us to create how to win a speech. And Toastmaster Rudra Kumar helped us see Toastmasters beyond public speaking. But today's session is different. It goes back to very foundation. Because before we create a powerful speech and inspire the audience, the first question that we need to answer is what we are supposed to talk about. And to guide us through this journey of triggering the thoughts, we have a mentor, a leader, and a true powerhouse of knowledge. A Toastmasters veteran and 3rd president of our club. He has mentored countless members over the years, shaping their journeys in communication and leadership. His passion for learning and sharing the knowledge goes beyond Toastmasters, having conducted numerous education sessions and workshops across various clubs. He continues to empower speakers with his experience and with his wisdom. Beyond Toastmasters, his expertise is vast. He is an electrical engineer graduate and a retired joint general manager at Mecon. With his wealth of experience and dedication to growth, there is no one better to help us unlock the secret of never running out of speech ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome DTM AK Prabhakara for hosting educational session triggering the thoughts with a resounding round of applause.
Thank you, Madam President, for that rather generous introduction. If anything can go wrong, it will. That's what Murphy's Law said. I tried everything with my laptop at home, everything worked, but it didn't work with the projector here. So, but it has been settled now. 1.5 months ago, in this spot where Shiva and Toastmaster Jyothi is sitting, our Vice President Education Sindhushri brought one Toastmaster, Sachin, to saying that, sir, he wants his speeches to be mentored by you. I said, fine. Then immediately Sachin asked, topic, sir? I said, fine. You send me your icebreaker. That kept his brain running. He said, a couple of days later, he did send me his icebreaker. In that icebreaker, I noticed that he is an excellent chess player. A chess player who has won tournaments at district level and participated in chess tournament even in state level. Then there are other hobbies, but this is the one that struck me immediately. And then I called him up, saying that just 2 months prior to that, there was a news item saying that one of the great chess champions, that is Magnus Carlsen, had been sent out of a world championship tournament, rapid chess tournament, because he was in casual dress, a jeans he was wearing for that. And he didn't take part, he was sent out, he walked out, he didn't take part further on that. Because I related chess, that his hobby or his expertise, to what news I had read. And I told him, why don't you speak on this topic, like using this Magnus Carlsen, and the title of the speech can be dressing for the occasion. He immediately said, sir, I will do something. I said, fine. And he said he will send a draft of a speech. He did send a week later. In that, certain surprise was waiting for me, because he has connected leadership, risk, and how chess is related to decision-making process. And he also surprised me with one other thing, that is a kind of set of words that I had used on the day I was introduced by Toastmaster Sindhushri to me. That was the person who posed me the topic that day was Toastmaster Shubh. She said she had posed a topic to me saying that 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That was my topic. I had responded like this, saying that 2 steps forward, please take. But when you take 1 step forward also, it is necessary, because you have to check whether you are really covered for all the risk that is required, that may be required when you take 2 steps forward. I elaborated and saying that there is calculated risk, there is blind risk. This also he had used in that draft. Members, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us the topic triggering the thought. Because all I had done to Sachin was triggering his thought, linking the chess, that was his strength, and he had made a leap, linking it to the table topic response that I had. This is all that is required, and all I had done to mentor him was triggering his thought, and he gave me this speech. So the whole topic today is about how to trigger your thoughts. And to know more about it, let's see how the Toastmasters International has envisioned selecting a topic. And then we can build on that. So let me take you through what Toastmaster presentation is all about regarding selecting your topic. There are 2 sources. I need to bring the one. Right. There are 2 sources. One source is personal experience. You all know that. Another source is within the personal experience, what are your interests? That is your hobby. And then profession, that's career. Then what else? Family and education. These are the things that you cover with you know it very well. And these are the things you will cover in your icebreaker speech. That's why icebreaker speech becomes very, very important. That's a very rich source of the topics. Let me tell you, for those who are noting down, no issues, please note down. But this is downloadable from Toastmasters International website for any member. Okay, that's why I said I picked it up. Okay, then so this is essentially your icebreaker speech. Remember that. Then the two sources continue. Next one is reference material. What are the reference material? Websites. When it comes to websites, there are several things that comes to my mind. One is that if you know the topic, you can reach for a blog, quotation, and essays, and even speeches in ChatGPT. You can have it done. And not only that, I would like to bring in some technology, other issues as a tool. For example, some people, when you say, please draft a speech, they are averse to it. They are hesitant. So they think that that's not their kind of stuff. But remember, without a draft, you cannot correct it or have it mentored. It's important that you draft it. But can we get over that? Is there a tool? Yes. Today, if you hold your mobile phone, if you speak text to speech to text converters, and that's what Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa used recently. And he made his assistant to do the rest of the job, but he spoke, and it came out, and it was sent to me. I tweaked it, sent it back. He gave the speech. Only thing that kind of thing can happen is a little bit of funny thing, that he has the habit of thumping the table often. That also came, and it came as something like this, explosive sound. Just to make a light So websites and tools are like this. Then books. You see 7 Habits, or many books, self-help books are there, and anything like that, the one that you like most. You see, Mills and Bones kind of stuff, I think Jyothi has done a lot of reading, and even that can be a lot of source for that. So then magazines, a rich source, no doubt about it. But newspaper, to me, I used to read magazines, but I depend heavily on newspaper to update things on a daily basis. Newspaper is one kind of thing, workshop we will conduct, very short workshop, and icebreaker one also we will do. But is that all there is to it? There is little more. Then we go to write it down. When an idea occurs, it occurs fleetingly, it just passes like this. It's a flash, and you have to immediately write it down. Why you have to write it down is that when you write down, your mind gets encouraged, and you will start getting more and more ideas. So when you hold a newspaper, you read that, oh, can this be a speech, kind of a topic for Toastmasters? Think on that. Can it be a topic for something general that I can give in RW Association, Resident Welfare Association? It will be there. Just think how to do it, and it will become a habit with you. Because it's something like these ideas are very fleeting, as I told. It's something like rabbit, you cannot catch it. But once you catch it, you know how to catch many things that is going to come as an idea. So make it a habit by writing it down. Your mind gets encouraged, you become an enthusiastic person regarding this. So it's a small habit on the side, you can do it. So please do it, write it down. Then comes narrow your selection. It's a very broad topic. Normally topics are very broad. How to narrow down? You should know your audience. It's a compact place here. So audience is what kind of level of knowledge. If you are school kid, are you addressing school kid, college kid, or a mixed adult audience? Consider that. Suppose I say kite and flight is my topic. If I am addressing to school children, I would rather give a treatment like saying that joy of flying a kite, or sitting next to a window in the plane and looking down on the scenery, or how the wing operates. You just enjoy that. So, but when it comes to adult and maybe science and tech persons, I would rather say treat pressure difference between kite, the flat space of the flight, plate of the kite, or the aerofoil formation in the wing, which really gives the lift required for the aeroplane. So this kind of treatment here, depending on the audience. Then how many people? This is a compact group. It can be big. In that case, maybe I have to move a lot. Here I am standing only because I thought I should not block your view. Okay. Then age range, I have talked about it. kind of mixed. And familiar with the subject, how familiar am I when I'm talking to the subject? It matters. Am I familiar enough? Because sometimes I have to face Q&A. Will I be able to withstand, especially if the persons listening are very knowledgeable? You have to be ready for that. So familiarity of the subject matters. Then similar education, interest, background experiences. If it is there, then you have to prepare differently. Maybe you need to be a little more knowledgeable, I would say. Continuing narrow your selection, the occasion is important. When a death anniversary is going, if you are called to speak, you don't have to really be flippant. You have to speak in terms of person who has passed away, his glorious life that he had, etc., etc. You have to say. But if it is a general kind of situation, very celebratory mood, you can be humorous. So you have to make a choice depending on the occasion. Does the event have a theme? So our Toastmasters have a theme. So if the theme is there, try to be orienting yourself towards that to an extent possible, and it helps. When are you scheduled to speak? Your preparation time will be involved. Your sequence of when you are going to speak, if there are more than 2 or 3 speakers. So your because in the first, if you are last person to be speaking, then other 2 might have already spoken about it. So you can be brief. And what will happen after the speech? If people are already tired of listening to others, you have to be brief, so that next things may be dinner or tea break. So you have to be very careful about it. Say, narrow your selection, continuing your own ability. Suppose Sachin speaks on chess. Okay? So he is a kind of authority among ourselves. I can only talk in terms of fashion, but he thought in terms of chess and leadership, how the brain works. See, so our own ability is important factor. Enthusiasm, interest I can generate depending on my enthusiasm, my kind of ability. And knowledge base, I have gradually built certain knowledge, and to that extent I am knowing I can manage this kind of a scene. So knowledge base is important. Then are you an authority? To an extent this also helps. If you are an authority, some other what we call as random question can be managed by. I would say some people try to pull your leg. That can be also be managed. So then narrow your selection, continuing, be specific. If you see the evaluator sheet, the first thing that comes is clarity. Clarity comes from being specific. Then is the topic specific enough to be specific enough for the time allotted? You have to consider that. But key is number of words. Count the number of words. If it crosses 750, that means you are going to be out of time. You are going to be beyond that. Do the subpoint support the topic and add to the speech. Sometimes opening is something, subpoint is something else, conclusion something else. They should all be joined properly. So subtopic is the body of the speech. That body of the speech can be one anecdote, one story, and second subpoint also could be there to support that. Then comes what can be cut from the body of the speech. Because normally if you are talking about building a building, it's a vast topic. But if you take about painting a kitchen, painting a room like this, you have narrowed down. So it should be possible. It should be possible to deliver within the time. But what can be cut? This is an interesting anecdote or a story about this. One kid, 10-year-old kid, sees a sculptor. He will have finished a fine sculpture of horse. Then the kid asks, how did you make this horse? For that, the sculptor responds saying that I removed what is not required, it became horse. Got my point? So here, cut what is not required. Conclusion, personal experience, resources that I have talked about, two resources. Then consideration. Consideration is audience, your own ability, occasion. Remember AAO, how job. Okay. Then you have excellent speech topic. This is what Toastmasters International say about selecting your topic. Now, one other thing comes. What they have, this is the first segment. What they have shown is only a direction. 2 resources, then occasion, ability, these things they have told. But what they have not told is that how to extract topic from icebreaker or topic from newspaper, for example. That's going to be the workshop now. Now I request पानी पिलाने का पहले पानी पी लेना कन्नड़ದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಕುಡಿಸೋಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ನೀರು ಕುಡಿಬೇಕು. Now you have already formed groups of 4. Okay. In the meantime, please go through, put your name on in the place that is given there, and okay, all of you have got, please read through, before you read through, there is one Srinivas icebreaker given to you. And there is a table at the end of the speech graph table, and on the right side of the table there is a blank space. Okay, sentences, are you getting what I am trying to say? Yes. This is a icebreaker speech from one Srinivas model from IMB orators. I'll tell you why I chose that. And certain sentences are picked from his icebreaker speech draft, and it is put in a form of a table. That is the first is serial number, second is the words from the icebreaker. And on to the right side there is a blank. Okay. Now what to fill up and how to fill up, I'll tell you through another icebreaker speech by one Vivek Tonaki. He is from the IMB orators. When I do there, I take icebreakers from my club. Okay, it's the other way around now. Okay, why I chose, let me one small incident I'll tell you. Why I chose Srinivas model's icebreaker. If you see there, there are 45 possibilities of a topic listed. 45. And when at one point of time when I gave education talk in IMB orator, one person walked up to me after that session and introduced himself saying that I am Srinivas so Srinivas Magal. Sir, I am stuck with for so many 1 or 2 years with this. I am not able to make progress. So in the Toastmasters journey, I am stuck. Can you mentor me? I said, I will mentor you, provided you do all your speeches from your icebreaker speech. And if you are prepared to send me your icebreaker speech, I will find topics. And this is how I subdivided it into 45 topics. And he finished in those days what is called a competent communicator or CC through the topics generated from the source only. That was the challenge. Later on, he knew how to make it because he got the idea and he knew how to, the trick of the trade of generating topics. Most of the sentences in icebreaker are such that you are always relating it to some kind of a situation that you have gone past in your life. So there is always an incident that you can associate. So how, let's say, the topic has to be extracted. Here is one such example that I will give you. This is Vivek Tonaki's speech. This is, you can say, 2010, already 15-year-old. Okay, a good friend of mine now. They are all people who have grown with me. Life is a box of chocolate. Can you read that? Can you see that? Life is a box of chocolate. You never know what you get. My life has been full of surprises. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome. First among 3 kids. I was born in Bijapur. Second largest dome, etc., etc. The only whispering gathering in the world, Gol Gumbas. Then my dad was an army officer. All these are deliberately highlighted. I had fixed timings of study and play. There was no pocket money. Now, this is the kind of thing I have highlighted in Srinivas' case also. Now, you see, let's go down how I have used these sentences to generate topics. Yeah, the first one, life is a box of chocolates, you never know what you get. My life has been full of surprises. Topic can be a title of a speech, or topic can be surprises in life. surprises in life. Then first among three kids. Last week, if you have been here in our club, Toastmaster Gia spoke about her rivalry, her sibling rivalry with her brother, and she did a beautiful job of that. And you can say, so sibling rivalry, about its psychology, you can write a speech. Then Gol Gumbas and Bijapur, history of Bijapur. This can be a topic. I think Bhavna spoke about where he went last time. He could give you the description. So you can describe that Bijapur also, especially that kind of thing. Then as a kid, I traveled to places. So topic can be life and living in different places. I have lived in different places. The kind of talk I give, suppose I say, you are supposed to come at 9:30, you are come at 10 o'clock, what happens? I want to market. In Bengal they say market. Marketing means you went to purchase something from marketing. Here marketing is sales and marketing. So the cultural difference is there all the time. So you have to be, so life and living in different places, that can be a topic. Okay? Rejected admission. Something has happened in the sentence up there. Dejection, rejection, regeneration. That can be a topic. Okay? Then my mom has always taught me, if you make a mistake, accept it. But if you are right, never take the blame. Fight if you are right. That can be a topic. How you switch those words to make a title or topic, it's in our hands. It is from icebreaker speech of Vivek Pranaki. You have to make such sentences, from such sentences, such title and topic you have to generate. Your time starts now as a group. Individually you have to write, and somewhere some anecdote you have to generate, and among the four finally decide which one or who is going to be speaking hereafter. Because that will be posed as a topic by table topic master, Toastmaster Shiva, and later on the newspaper by Toastmaster Gajendra. Please start now. It is already 7:10, 7:12. Let's see. 5 minutes for reading, another 2 minutes for brainstorming. One person, please, one person writes only one topic. You are not, please write only one topic. Each person has been given. Say for example, fifth. See, 1 minute, let me tell you. This is the sixth group. Please note here. And I have marked these sixth group will be dealing with the topics associated with serial number 21, 22, 23, 24. Your group I have marked in the table
5, 6, 7, 8.
And one person in the group of the four has to write one topic only. Choose among yourself which one will be yours. Which serial number will be yours, right? Which serial number will be yours? Alright. Now we move on. I want your attention, please. This is one day newspaper. I would have changed it for today, which is 10-year-old paper, with more or less from different clubs I have maintained. I was about to throw this, but suddenly this came up. Because of that, unfortunately I maintained this. From here, if you see in your clip that I have given, I have photocopied various topics from newspaper. It is from one day newspaper, and Deccan Herald. It is dated 13th January 2015, 10-year-old. Okay? Why I picked up one newspaper is that from one newspaper, 26 sheets, I have picked up one article each. I have numbered it. The number represents particular page, sheet number of the newspaper. Number whatever you have got. Have you been able to get that sheet?
Yes.
Okay. So that number represents a particular sheet in the newspaper. Newspaper, the news you get from newspaper or from the world to you through newspaper is, remember this, PLET, SIPS and SET. It's an acronym I have coined myself. News comes like this. Politics, P stands for politics. Local news, editorial, technology and science, spirituality, international, business, sports, and supplements like this Metro Life, Spectrum, like this. It represents culture, surface culture, fashion, entertainment. So the news from the world comes to you like this. Now I have given serial number 2 is with who? Serial number 2. Is it BWSS serial number 8 you have?
We have 5 and 8.
Serial number 2.
This is 5 here.
Okay, this is
This is 5, this is 8, and this is 6.
Serial number 2 BWSSB. Somebody must be having it. Group 2, Group 1, serial number 2, Group 1. Where is Group 1?
yeah, I had it, I gave it to
Who? Shiva. Check that. Yeah, I don't want. I just want to demonstrate this. So it's Gajendra. So here is the article. BWSSB plugs leakage at STP, checks flow of sewage into Jakpur Lake. This is hyperlink. This is available straight away. So just to show that this article, when you glance, or headline that you should glance to and read that, something will occur to you as a topic. And that topic you have to write on a small sheet that is pinned to that article, that particular, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, one below the other topic that occurs to you, you have to write. It is from newspaper. Each one has been given one sheet, one article. Okay? Now your time starts now. At the end of it, Toastmaster Gajendra will collect it. So all of you are able to get a hang of how to do it. When you read a newspaper or your newspaper, you should be able to get something out of it, saying that okay, this I can use it as a topic to speak. It can be not only in Toastmasters but anywhere else also. So common problems are typically late or parking problems. With Darshan, driver gets a parking ticket, you will also have experienced the parking problem. So you can talk about it. It's like that. What idea is to trigger thoughts so that that can be used as a basis to speak in front of the audience. Now you may say, I want to draw the attention of the ladies. So you may say, okay, this is very difficult. Some of them may think that it's not possible, I'm not able to do it. Then how to go about finding the topic? I have put together one Excel sheet containing maybe hundreds of 200 words, maybe 1 or 200 words. I have not counted that. So if you click on that, okay, you will get a quote on that. I have designed it in such a way. For example, let's say I see word passion there. Passion or passion, let me see that. See, for example, here is passionate, then passion, partnership. Whatever word you choose, you tell me among this. I want last sheet I have given one sheet to a group. One sheet per group I have given. And it has so many words. I have taken it from a dictionary. And these are the typical words that can be used in Toastmasters situations. And from there you can derive quotation, you can derive essay, you can derive your speech itself through ChatGPT. So these are the words. You don't want to be creative. You want to use these words to generate topic. Let's put it that way. So in that situation, what do we do is I have put together these things. Let me pick up randomly. I'm picking up, for example, partnership, passion. What do you want?
sarcasm.
Sarcasm. Sarcasm. You want that?
Yes.
Okay, let's see what happens. Sarcasm. Sarcasm, okay. What you are going to get here is quotes on sarcasm. Okay, you need opening body conclusion, right? Okay. When someone says expect the unexpected, slap them and say, you didn't expect that. So, you get this kind of quote. This is, I have designed the Excel sheet there in such a way that if you click that link, you will get quotes. If I change the word quotes to blog or essay, you are going to get it. Got my point or not?
Yes.
Or if you want speech on sarcasm, if I change, perhaps I will get it. Should I try or? No, you understood, right? So this is in case you cannot really get. See, Toastmasters, any speech starts with a quotation, a joke, or something to draw the attention of the audience. Then you body up the speech. You have to draw. You have to draw from your experience. You have to draw from well-known anecdotes. So if you want to say Abraham Lincoln, I remember this. Abraham Lincoln was when he was president, one of his subordinates comes to him and sees the president polishing his shoes. So the person, that assistant, the fairly well placed position, the person, he asked, "Sir, do you polish your own shoes?" For that, Lincoln quips, "You polish whose shoes?" This is that I suddenly recollect. So this moment you see this, you can connect it to something that is known. And your own personal situations, certain personal anecdote stories, make a speech out of it. Conclude saying that self-help is the best help, for example. Gandhi said self-help is the best help. So you will get a speech. So this is how, even if you don't have the icebreaker speech linking methodology or even newspaper, with words alone you can start with. Okay? So this is about finding the topic. I'm not able to get out of this. Udanka, I need your help. It's his laptop, it isn't to him. Okay? Which one next? Next one? Next one. Okay, you keep this, let me explain. You may wonder, where do you find this? Right? I had the Excel sheet shown to you. You may wonder where I have got this Excel sheet. Can any one of you answer this question?
Is it from the Toastmasters website?
No. One more chance.
Call communication website.
Where? It is in our website. Where?
Resources.
Public downloadables. Public downloads, under that this is available. And it is called Mentor Center. It is public downloadable, you can use it as it is. And there I have given how to select topic, whatever I have told you, it's available. And these words, table of the words is also available. So it is available to the public, but only thing is, it is read only. You cannot manipulate that. Hopefully it has remained same. I don't know what has happened beyond that. Okay, this I did as a project along with Amitabh Sahara years ago. Amitabh Sahara, even Sugandhi Gadadhar was there, and Muralidhar Campus Sagar of IIMB organization. So it's available, you can use that. So this is, we come to another PPT, please. So this, I wanted to draw this attention. Now, you thought that the whole thing is over now. I can't help it. Our VP wanted me to touch the how to design a speech as well. So please bear with that. But said that it will be little more stretching the kind of brain for everybody. I can't help it. Blame it on VP. Okay. Designing a speech, getting the big picture right. See, always remember, irrespective of all the razzmatazz, the guidelines, whole lot of things written, ABC, OBC, the ABC of the speech, and the XYZ of the speech, any speech. OBC stands for opening, body, conclusion. Opening, how it should be. That is, opening should be attention catching, and it should lead to speech topic. Very simple to remember. These things that I am telling, so I'm going to tell, is all written there in Pathways Manual also. Only thing is it's spread out here and there. I've tried to bring it under one umbrella. So then, what happens? Body of the speech, what it should have, anecdotes, and it should include anecdotes and incidents from personal life backed up by one or two well-known and published well-known are published stories and statistics. Statistics to bring about certain authenticity to what you are telling, to prove what you are telling is right. So these are all things that is required. Basically, this is what is required. I have given handouts for this also. Handouts are available to you. Okay. Then what else is required? Conclusion, opening body conclusion. What conclusion should have is review or summarize with respect to opening. Summarize with respect to opening. So I have told this is what it means. So this is the conclusion. That's what you are going to tell. Then call to action or memorable, make a memorable statement. Call to action is if you are resolving a problem, then if everybody agrees, go ahead with that and take them along with you. So this is the conclusion statement. Without a message, speech is useless. Like saying that if I say cat, come, meet, meow, meow, happy and go. It cannot be a speech. Maybe grammatical from somebody is going to haul me up for grammar, but grammar, you keep it aside, everybody has understood what I am going to tell. But it cannot be a speech. What is the message? Incident, narrating an incident has a context. Even if you are talking with respect to another person, it is within a framework of a context. So you have to, opening has to be context. Even if you are opening with a proverb, that is the context. You see a situation, you tell a proverb. Then expand on that. Similarly, it has to have a message. So remember that call to action, make a memorable statement, is fine. But it has to have a message, some conclusion from your opening, and looping up together is important. Now let's see what else is required. This is everything, these three are everything about a speech. But something is there, more is there. You need some kind of a resource. I have talked about 2 resources. Can you tell me what are the 2 resources?
Reference material.
Yep.
Personal
experience, that is the 5th E. I've talked about family, interest, profession, education. And then other one is
Reference.
Reference. That is newspaper, magazines. So this is the resource for that topic. But there is something more you will need. What is that? Is that know-how. Know-how is provided by manual, pathway guides. Today, pathway is beautifully written. If you go inside that, it will take you step by step. You answer, small quizzes are there. What you read, answer that quiz, move on, and at the end of it, one video will be there. Just understand the video, then generate the speech. Topic, you know how to go about doing it. Relate it to that, whatever guideline they have given. Then there is little more to it. Then there are checks. What are the checks that you have to do with respect to evaluator sheet? Remember the Stephen Covey's 7 Habits. He starts with saying, begin with the ending. Finally, your speech ends in the hands of an evaluator. So, read the evaluator sheet whether your project speech is meeting that requirement. That is one verification you have to do. Like you are in school and colleges, you verify the worked example, then go through the exercise, check the answer on this thing. So this is about checking your answer sheet. And for completeness, you check that. Then talk to mentor, send it to him, send it the draft speech to mentor, and wait for a week so that she or the mentor has some time to react, 1 or 2 days at least, so that she or she may be involved in some other place. So be kind enough to provide some elbow room to her the mentor. So that is it. Then this is done through as far as the speech goes. Next, what happens? Designing the speech, icebreaker speech I talked, reference material I talked. Then table topic responses are really big source of topics. How I told that Sachin used that. Then personal experiences definitely will add value of the speech. Know how there is briefly icebreaker individual speaking on, we will be speaking on 50. Know how aspects. Organize the speech into OBC. Get to the point. Speak it in earnest. GPSP. I talked about GPSP. General purpose is, let's say, is a building, but building a building. But very small portion you can talk. Say painting, you take it, and that to a small room. What we need to do extra for that. Or I can talk between one speech how I prepare for this presentation. That itself can be a speech. Then use simple words. The speaker doesn't, the audience don't have time to really, if you use a jargon, they don't know what exactly, they don't have the luxury of dictionary quickly trying to find out what we are trying to, what the jargon means. So use simple words. And using SMART, SMART stands for simile, metaphor, alliteration and trap. Simile is that if I say ignorance is like cancer to the society, when I say like, it is similar. Simile. If I say ignorance is cancer to the society, is metaphor. It's a jump. Then alliteration, unwept, unkind, unconquered, he left the place. So it starts with it's always a alliteration. Triad is that he came, he saw, he conquered, let's say. It's a triad. It helps the person listening. It sounds so nice to his ears. The retention becomes better. So then we have your body speaks, have conviction on this thing. Your body language will come out smooth if you are believing in what you are trying to convey to the audience. So you see how a person who speaks so well, he talks with this hand. Please come and join. We will going to lift this club up, ensuring that at least one person reaches world championship of public speaking. So this kind of thing, this it helps. So just think of that. Okay, your body speaks. Vocal variety. Let the characters happen. Simplest way to bring in vocal variety is to make two characters speak. Suppose I am subordinate and say Gajendra is the boss. Gajendra comes and sees me. Prabhakara, I gave you an assignment yesterday and I told you it's very urgent. What about even today it has not done. Gajendra, Prabhakara says, looks at Gajendra says, a hopeless case. Sir, I'm still working on, sir. It is not so simple the way you think. See, my defensive approach and voice itself is low. He's one of confidence. If you make two characters speak, vocal variety comes natural. That is the simple way to look at vocal variety. Application aspects, research your topic. Principle of search is search and research. When you search, this is the way something is happening. But research is when something like that is happening. Today, it can be done differently by using a certain tool. Today, I said speech to text conversion I talk. Today, tool is different. If you see earlier Toastmasters things, when camera was not there, he would say practice in front of the mirror. When you look at the mirror, you forget the speech. So, you look at the face, whether the things are in place, order, you look concerned about that. So these are the things. Today camera is there, you speak in front of the camera, you can send it across to your mind. So tools are there. So this is, and so research is seeing certain gap in the situation and bringing in new things into it. That is research, and you present it in front of the audience. If everybody accepts, that becomes the new norm. Okay, so search and research, comfortable with visual aids. I'm not blocking your audience. Kept everything ready. Still, it failed in spite of the preparation. But somehow we are still holding on to that, trying my best to give you whatever I think is right, so that I make the impact. So this is getting comfortable with visual aids. Use it with confidence. Okay. Persuade with power. Persuasion. Persuade to adopt an idea. When you see resolve a problem, solve a problem, you have to persuade with certain. Persuasion is such that they may adopt or may not adopt, but you do your best to convince them. And inspire your audience by appealing to the noble motives, higher beliefs or achievement, needs and emotions. Okay? This is one such example. Inspire this thing is you will have noticed in our club this recording. Can you tell me who started this?
Sai.
Sai, when he started, he was just recording it for himself. Then he started posting in YouTube, and then HPL situation came. I told him put together a team so that they can put names whenever that person comes to speak, so that 2 hours you don't have to go searching where you spoke, individual member. Now the name comes, we search there, my name, how did I perform? I can see that, and I can think of how to improve upon it. So he did something not for himself, that is something beyond himself. and it is the good of others. That is the one that will draw the people to you, and that's because they would leave things that they were doing to join in his endeavor. So that is inspiration. So thinking beyond yourself is about inspiration. That is the essence of leadership. So this is everything about know-how and application aspects. I have talked about this IIEP I just mentioned. There are only 4 speeches broadly. That is either you inspire or you inform or entertain or persuade. IIEP. That's all. So this will have been given in the manual, but I make it only for my convenience, and thereby partly hand it over to you. I think with that we come to the end of my session. Any question I take, any I cannot manage, I will really think and answer maybe later on one-to-one basis also. Any questions starting from
So
that?
what's the T in this math is simple words, huh?
Simile,
Right.
metaphor,
SMART.
Triad.
SMART stands for simile,
Triad.
metaphor, alliteration, and triad.
triad.
I gave examples of that also. Next question. When there is no question, that means you have understood everything or you have not understood anything.
You say 750 words for 7 minutes. So do we linearly scale that up for 20 minutes?
Yeah,
2000 words.
yeah. The basis is like this. An average person can deliver 100 to 120 words per minute. You want in a contest, you have to be sure that you are finishing within the time. So 750 words you will be able to deliver. 100 words per minute, 50 words maybe spillover, it still falls within that. We do not know. Sometimes when you practice it is 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes also. But when we deliver sometimes in front of the audience, it can drop down, sometimes expand. You will never know that because the audience response, whether you are going to pause or not, you are not consciously aware, you are not aware of that. So it's a chance that you have to be taking. So safe way is to deal within 750 words, and you can linearly extrapolate it, no problem with that.
How to select the speech slot? Speech time.
Speech time. Time means duration.
Yes.
100 words per minute, sir.
No, that is average. Suppose I am going for a school. I went to one meeting, he keeps on talking, we are not interested at all. Not
After lunch or before lunch? That's
Say, what is an ideal time for a speech?
Ideal time.
Hour, 15
Okay.
minutes.
Okay. Ideal time for a speech is typical Toastmasters speech of 7.5 minutes. And keynote speech can be 20 minutes. Some of the Toastmasters speeches are 20 minutes also, slots are given. So it depends on the quality of the content you are going to bring. Normally people really latch on to good stories. So if you have good stories, they latch on to it and you can make a mark on their words.
Sir, one Bijapur Swamiji, he attracts lakhs of people when speaking. He speaks for 1 hour. And such a good this thing, he speaks in such a way, everybody will be attentive. Sir, 1 hour, fantastic speech.
I'll answer that kind of question. If you see in schools and colleges, some teachers are most sought after. In our college, where the National College was very well known, people from different places used to come to that college only to listen to some of the professors there who were remarkably good. There used to be rush from one class to another to listen to those people. Suppose I think about them, some of the speakers here in our club also were there. They speak with certain rhythm. They allow, I have seen some of the people that you are talking 1 hour. I have heard of Jiju Krishnamurti, people like that. They drop the words in such a slow manner, it will sink in. And they have complete control over what words they speak. They never repeat. In my case, I repeated several times, but they never repeat. The words are just released and it goes to the ears and it sinks in. Then he takes up the next sentence. And it's in harmony, there's a rhythm in that. And that's why some teachers are sought after and the kids go to them. So we had one teacher, B.M. Srinivasaria. He was not written mathematics books. He's no more. He used to say, one of my classmates, one Ramdas, he kind of fidgeted while he was describing something more complex. Then he said, "Have you done your homework?" He said, "Yes." Then don't think you are very bright. I am not talking to you at all. I am talking to the person who has not understood anything of what I am telling. To the last ranked person I am talking. I want him to understand what I am talking, what I am telling. So, to whom are you addressing? To the person who finds it difficult to understand a complex? Is it that is the goal? There are times I have told, Shreya I have told, that is when you are talking very softly, think that you are addressing the last person sitting there and keep eye contact. The kind of response he gives the idea that he is able to listen to. Your voice will become louder. So you have to target to whom are you speaking. Accordingly, you have to release your words. Okay, sir. Anything more? I think Team Nikti is waiting. Anything more? Okay. Now, Q&A. Thank you. Thank you for bearing with extra time. Sufficient effort was put. Thank you, sir.
Your homework is inspiring, sir.
Pardon?
Your homework is inspiring.
Thank you so much, sir.
Coming so
from
much
you.
thought, sir. It's just unbelievable.
So much interest you have taken.
Yeah. Hopefully it will be helpful. I think we'll break and then hold the tabletop.
Yes, yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
May I have your attention,
We
please?
can call me first.
Everybody is in position. And now I am going to be put on test. A judge in his retirement speech recently told on the day of retirement, "Please come in."
That's why I didn't want to enter, sir. I should have taken a joke on me.
I'm going to be on test now. The judge was on his retirement day was giving a speech, and he makes a remark that throughout his career he was a judge. He says, in a given case, both sides know the truth. Only the judge is the one who is going to be judged. So my situation also is like that. Whatever topics has been given to you, each one from each group has been given to Toastmaster Shiva and Toastmaster Gajendra, and they are going to pose those topics to those specific persons whose name is written there. And now I hand over the control to Toastmaster Shiva, the IPP of our club.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster A.K. Prabhakara. Without further ado, let us get quickly started with our table topic session for today, short but sweet. Starting off right away with our first topic for today that has been written down. The head of the family. The head of the family, Toastmaster Gajendra.
Ended a little because the head of the family is like someone more, superior. But for me, it was responsibility on his shoulders. So for me, it was like the man of the family. So back in 2023, in November, I used to live in JP Nagar, and then it was a rented house. And then the owner came one day, like, in a parliament, you have to renew a rent. And he gave us a document about his estimation. And it was like way beyond of how much we were paying. And then that time we were like, it's too much for us. And me and my mom, we discussed about it, like, what to do. Like, there's a lot of money and we can't spend so much money right now. And on the same way, we have another building in Malleshwaram where the top floor was free. And we decided instead of paying so much rent to this guy, we can take the same money and we can build our own place. And so that began. And I think in January, we started building. In January, I joined an internship. So my mom only had to completely look after the construction. And I think for almost one and a half month, only one wall was built. So which wall would take like around 4 hours, it took 1.5 months to build. probably because of wrong communication and because my mom couldn't talk to them properly, and yeah, probably because it's kind of a sad thing, but women are not taken seriously even today. And that time what happened was I came up, after my internship got over, I had a chance to either renew my continue my internship or quit and do something else. And that time, I think in April, I was done with my internship and I gave all my time to my house's construction. So every single day, I used to wake up at 6 o'clock, I used to go to Malleshwaram, and I used to look after the construction. And there were times when the laborers they weren't coming. So I used to go to Majestic bus stand, I used to ask people, in Gari Kelsa Baruta, and if they said yes, means used to negotiate a price and then used to get it done. Then coming slowly, then I think during July we were done with the construction, and then the interior work had to happen. And when interior work was happening and the interior work took place, okay, I'm running out of time. So basically from one brick till the last tile, there was some white cement in the tile. I was present there and there was a lot of responsibility on my shoulder. So that's it, thank you.
See, from one word, he was able to speak so much on an issue. Only so you can build on that. That's the point I wanted to make when I say discover the topic. This is what brainstorming does this much for you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gajendra. Moving on to our second topic for today: lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, action. Distinguished Toastmaster Udanka.
Lights, camera, action. The moment I heard this topic, one thing will flash to me is when I was at Pondicherry exploring the nature. I was sailing through the mangrove forest where it was mid-afternoon and I had set my camera for the sun's, the afternoon, how heat and how bright it is on afternoon, especially the coastal area. So I had set my camera there, and while I was sailing through, I saw a bird in the riverbed standing in white. I'm like, okay, it's a good place to me, it's constant, even I'm constant, let me go capture it. Light came into a problem. Next, we had to go a little nearer to the bird so that we can capture it properly. That's when the action we wanted to do. The tough action was, we had to sail our motor boat near the bird, but if in case we turn on the engine of the motor, because of the sound it might fly away. So that was then, and if I go nearer also, because that we are nearing, because of the flight it might fly away. And I cannot set my lights of the camera until I go nearer because it was in a darkest area of that particular shadows of the trees. That's when everything came into picture. Somehow, with some trial and error, I was able to click a picture which showed a bird drinking water, but almost 90% of it's in the reflection of the water. So it came like a mirror image of the bird on the water, and to my surprise, with the instant changes in the camera what I made, I could capture it with a picture perfect image, and I still have that as one of my top 3 images of wildlife photography. And that's how something happens in photography. Every day I play with lights, camera and action, and that's my passion. With that, public back.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Udanka. Moving on to our third topic for today: my legacy in Toastmasters. My legacy in Toastmasters. Distinguished Toastmaster Nitasha.
My favorite author, Roald Dahl, said, "Those who don't believe in magic will never find it." I've been a Toastmaster for 20 plus years, and a curious guest at my club last week asked me, "Nitasha, what is your legacy? What is it that brings you to Toastmasters week after week, month after month, year after year?" I thought for a minute and I looked back and I thought, it is the magic of Toastmasters that has sprinkled its pixie dust on me. The pixie dust of mentoring, of acceptance, of goal setting, inspiration and camaraderie. Let me take you back, after I've introduced that acronym, let me take you back to my journey where I started, my legacy. About 20 plus years ago, my father was a seasoned Toastmaster, and week after week he would come back and talk about his magical experiences at Toastmasters, just like the one that we've had today. Of course, as a young 25-year-old, I could not say no. And sure enough, I accompanied him. Back then, we used to meet at the New Delhi Toastmasters Club, which was one of the first clubs in Delhi, and we used to meet at the American Consulate. As if the security protocols of entering an American consulate was not enough, I found myself in a room of expats. And I looked back and I said, oh my God, what am I doing here? I'd rather be in a music class. These people are accomplished speakers. Why would they accept me? But that was then. And today, 20 years later, I feel I belong. I would rather be at a Toastmaster meeting than anywhere else. I may not be the best speaker, but I sure enough have gained an experience and confidence to speak on any stage. And that has been possible because of the legacy set by my father, the magic of Toastmasters that has sprinkled its pixie dust on me of mentoring, acceptance, goal setting, investment in yourself, and camaraderie. And with that, I'm sure that is the story of many Toastmasters in this room. That legacy, I hope to keep inspiring, keep growing, and keep learning. Thank you.
Thank you deeply, Nitasha. Moving on to our fourth topic for today. Despising it to loving it. Despising it to loving it, Toastmaster Madhusudan.
So I'll set the context for all of you. This is 1998. I am 1.5, 2 years old. And my mom, I and my grandparents were vacationing in Kerala. We are at a lake, most probably Vembanad Lake. And my grandfather and my grandmother were afraid of the lake. They didn't want to go and raft the teppa. But my mom was adventurous. She was like, let's go. And we ventured out into the water. We get caught in some weeds or whatever it might be. And the teppa capsizes. And I go under as a baby. Now, my mom frantically searches. There are people swimming, trying to find me, but they don't. After 20 minutes, they see a small hand come on the surface of the water. And then they're like, that's the baby. And they grab me, they take me to some wherever city, hospital, they cater to me, and I survived. I had jaundice apparently, but I survived. Now, this is the context of me despising swimming. Because as a baby, I almost drowned. And because of that experience, my mom, my grandfather, my parents, they never let me anywhere near water. Now, no school trips, wherever we went to Wonderla or whatever, I never got into the water. I never went and saw a beach until like I was 24. Yeah, so this is how I despise water. I would never get into it. But something changed in life. I wanted to do a triathlon because I was already running and cycling came naturally to me, and I was like, okay, the one thing left is swimming. And that's when I decided I have to learn swimming. And I decided to do this when I was 25. So I joined a swimming class, and for 8 months, at 6 in the morning, I would go get into the cold water with school kids who were my compatriots. I don't know if that's the right word, but I would learn with 5th standard year, kids in 5th standard, 10th standard, and 9th standard. And that's how I learned. And it's been 3 years since then, and I love swimming. I still go swimming every other week. And I moved from despising it to loving it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhusudan. Moving on to our fifth topic for today, a blast from the past. A blast from the past, Toastmaster Sakshi.
Past and blast is where the memories last. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. The memory which reminds me of my trip to Dubai. Didi,
let's go skydiving in Dubai. Skydiving? Yeah, let's go skydiving in Dubai. But when I saw a video of girl jumping from a skydive, like doing the skydive, it's where all the excitement turned into fear. The night before the jump, I couldn't sleep. As soon as I closed my eyes, the thought of jumping from a plane kept replaying in my mind. On the day of dive, we reached the skydiving center. They handed us the papers that clearly said that if anything happens to you, they are not responsible for it. I met the instructor and he told me that if the parachute doesn't open, you have to pose like a banana. What? The chute wouldn't open? Seriously? There was no time left. My fear was turning into something else. My ears were filled of hot air, as if it is going to blast. We started the airplane started. We reached to a height of 13,000 feet, and then it was the time. We had to jump from a plane. I was smart enough to sit at the back so that I didn't go first. But before I knew it, people were already getting out. And now it was my turn. The instructor said, you have to jump at 3. 1, 2, and before I could grab the edge of the plane, he pushed me onto itself. And I was flying. I was flying just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, fear is often a barrier that keeps us from experiencing the most beautiful experiences in our life. The blast from my past is where the memories last. Thank you and
Thank you, Toastmaster Sakshi. Our final topic for today is based out of the icebreakers. Shake it to shape it. Shake it to shape it, Toastmaster Jyothi.
Do the things that fear you again and again. Do the things that fear you again and again so that fear fears you. Wow. Good evening, Toastmasters. It was during my plentiful way of earning when I took up the assignment of marketing and selling the organic pesticides. I had a margin of 3 rupees selling per pesticide bottle. So I started with walking into every shop of Gandhi Bazaar and selling it off. At one point of time, it was some hotel where those people stood and stared me top to bottom. They laughed, they looked at each other and they said, no, we don't want now. Maybe you can come tomorrow. That was when I realized I was fearful. I was fearful of people. I was fearful of my failure. And I had to shake off this fear. If I had to shape up my family and bring them up in their life, I had to shake off my fear. And so I walked in again the next morning and stood in front of those people and said, I am back here. The previous day, my head had bent down, but then I looked into their eyes and said, these are the pesticides that would help you in your restaurant. Whatever the rates, I marketed them and they bought half a dozen of it. In a week's time, they called me again and they asked me to deliver another dozen of those pesticides. And this business of mine continued. Dear Toastmasters, there is only one thing that stops us from shaping ourselves. The fear. The fear of people and the fear of failure that lies within us. To shape up our life, just shake it to shape it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyothi. That brings me to the end of my part of this session. And it was a unique experience. This is the first time I've conducted a table topic session and I saw a chair moving already out there in the audience. And it reminds me of that Mark Twain quote. You know, it takes me at least 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. So you can see what the power of preparation is, even though it was just a few minutes for all of you here. So with that, moving on to the next part, turn it to DTMing.
We saw the power of brainstorming, and within minutes people have really come up with good topics. Not only that, they have been able to speak. So what it proves is that whatever method I have suggested, it still works. Okay, to do whether it newspaper one works, I invite Toastmaster Gajendra.
Not wasting time, I'll just head to the topics.
Sorry, I need to be. My apologies, but thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
The first topic is unmonitored welfare schemes. Unmonitored welfare schemes, and this goes to Toastmaster Latha.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Unmonitored welfare schemes. Now, what happens when you think milk is going to cost you only 44 rupees, but when you go out and then the milkman says, shell out more 4 rupees, then you ask why? Then don't you read newspapers? You ask no. Why? What happened? The government has increased the milk rate by 4 rupees. Then you start thinking, oh, my budget has shaken down. What will I do? It's like 4 into 30 is how much?
120.
120. And how many liters of milk do I buy? For example, I buy 3 liters of milk per day. So how much is that?
36.
360 or 3600? 360. Imagine 360 rupees. If that burden I get, what do I do with it? How do I try to put that into my budget? This is what happens when government tries to put such welfare schemes into which are not monitored. They need to inform you well in advance and understand what we common people need. Milk is a basic necessity. And if they keep increasing the price like this every year, what do I have to do? Then I have to switch from milk coffee to decoction coffee. Leave out the milk, leave out the sugar, just have black coffee like what the rich and ultra rich people do to show up in all the Starbucks and coffee days and skip out the milk. So if the government is hearing to me through this channel, please reduce the rates. I need milk a lot. So let's track something else, maybe petrol or whatever you feel like. But please reduce all milk. Thank you so much.
The next topic, and please no one say this, I don't want to jinx it. It is Isala Cup Namde. Isala Cup Namde by Toastmaster Apoorva.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I would like to ask each of you, how many of you here watch cricket? So everybody is aware of IPL, right? And how many of you are diehard RCB fans? Really? Okay. So, as you all know, RCB has never ever won a IPL trophy till now.
Don't jinx it.
They should win. I'm
Chasing the loss. So.
Yeah, we may win this time. We went to the finals, IPL finals, not once, twice, but thrice. We had set our hopes really high, but we lost. I can still recall, it was sometime in 2008 is when IPL started. I guess I was in college. I was all excited. Everybody at home are diehard cricket fans. So the IPL format as it is, just a 20-over match, you know what kind of excitement it brings. It's a very quick match where the whole match is over within 3 hours. So I still remember all of us, my dad, mom, my brother and I used to sit up and watch all the matches, hoping that RCB wins. I know the journey has been not very fruitful, but it has been memorable for all the RCB fans. Like they say, it's not the destination, but the journey that matters. Maybe that is why RCB has given each of us a lot of memories. And being a RCB fan, I can say that loyalty is everything. Win or lose, RCBN forever. So on that note, ಈ ಸಲ ಕಪ್ ನಮ್ಮದೇ.
The next topic is did good but turned bad. Did good but turned bad. This goes to Toastmaster Balaji.
If you think you're bad, my friend Raju is your dad. My uncle Muthu has this amazing son named Raju, who is also my first cousin. So my uncle worked really hard, collected 1 rupee at the age of 12, and by the age of 38 he said, this is the money that I am building, this is the empire that I am building for my son Raju. On the other hand, Raju took all that money and he blew it on us. At the age of 16 he started drinking. And at the age of 17, he started smoking. On the other hand, Muthu told, okay, you know what? I really have to take care of my son's safety. I can't let him drive the bike. Let me buy him the car that can be the safest for him. Raju bought the safest car on the planet. But he put everybody else's life in a space where he had to write essays. Muthu then thought, you know what? Nothing's going to fix him. Let me really look for a nice lady and get him married. Raju, who would never speak to girls before getting married, learned how to speak to women and started speaking to all the other women. Just like a news reporter, I went to my uncle, any comments? He said, Nodappa, see son, I did good, but it turned bad. I thought I gave birth to a cow, but I just found out I've been milking a snake. So you do good, but make sure it doesn't turn bad. Not all good gives you good. It can also give you bad.
My next topic is an unforgettable day. An unforgettable day, and this goes to Toastmaster Sudeep.
I recently went to Dubai for a work trip, and as it happens in work trips, we try to squeeze in some fun. Now, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Dubai is not Burj Khalifa or Palm Jumeirah, but skydiving. That's right, it's going to be the second skydiving story of the day. So on the assigned day, we reach the center for skydiving, and I'm extremely nervous. I'm almost about to cancel. And then I meet my instructor, and it gets worse. My instructor walks out and he's having his cap backwards, wearing a sleeveless polka dot bright t-shirt and half pants and flip-flops. And his name is Tony. And I tell him, Tony, you look like a nice guy. I will have a beer with you, we'll hang out, but I'm not jumping out of pain with you. By the way, how many jumps have you done? 7,000. Okay, Tony, we are good. So we get on the plane, we get to the 15,000 feet altitude, and unfortunately, I'm the first person to jump out. And we are just on the edge of the plane, and he counts 1, 2, and we know what happens. And he jumps out, and I'm hardly done processing, haven't even started processing the betrayal, when I find myself propelling downwards at 120 miles an hour and just screaming and hating myself for doing this. And that goes on for 20 seconds and then it starts to get calm. And I could just enjoy the beauty. I could see Burj Khalifa in the distance and the beautiful, beautiful view of the Dubai. I land down and my instructor asks me if I'm ever going to do this again. And at that time I say no, because I remember how scared I am and I can't go through that again. But as the days went by, I just start craving for it again. So that's my unforgettable day. Thank you.
Moving on, the next topic. Corruption can't drive. Corruption can't drive, and this goes to Toastmaster Shreya.
In January of this year, I started going to classes to learn how to drive a car because I didn't know how to drive a car and I wanted to get my license. Now the instructor that I got was honestly the most horrible instructor I could have ever got. You know how on the car, the instructor's side, they have their own clutch and brake to make sure that you don't crash. So he used to put the clutch and brake and then scold me for not putting the clutch and brake. I would go to press the brake but it's already been pressed and he used to scold me. So this was the kind of thing I was dealing with when learning car. It's safe to say that I didn't learn how to drive a car, I still don't know how to drive one. So my driving test was on the 3rd of March and 2 days before, my parents and I are fully frantic because I had my last class and in that, my instructor told me that no one's going to be sitting beside you, you have to drive on your own. He gave me some practice test and in that also he is only putting clutch and brake and giving me the practice test to do in my exam. So 2 days before the exam, my parents took me and we were there practicing. The exam was in Jnana Bharati Center, so that's the most difficult one. You have to do figure eight, you have to go on a slope, stop, and then start again without going back. You have to do parallel parking, you have to do reverse parking, and I was just like, I am going to fail this test if no one is sitting beside me. Somehow my dad made me practice all of this. Some tears were shed, some comments were made, but it's okay. I managed to learn how to do all of this in 2 days, and when I went to the center, my inspector was sitting not inspector, my instructor, instructor was sitting next to me. He took me around, he passed my test and he said, pass marks nalla, 200 rupees kodi. I passed your test, right? Give me 200 rupees. I was like, okay. He told me to stand outside right next to the track and when he was taking the test of another person, he would come and collect the money. I was like, okay, I don't know how this is going to work. During taking the second person's test, while he was driving, before doing the figure eight, he stopped the car right there, came out, he spoke to us for 5 minutes, I gave him the 200 rupees, got back in and finished that test for the other person. I had never seen such blatant corruption like straight in front of my eyes. And so why, if this is the situation where everyone who's taking car test, corruption can't drive, you're going to end up crashing. That's
And the last topic of the day, addiction is key to stress. Addiction is key to stress. This is Toastmaster Basavaraj.
This is my first speech. So, addiction is the key to stress. This is in 2024. Recently, one of my colleagues lost his life because of being too workaholic in the office. He just got promoted last 2 years back as a head of production. He used to be online every day, every time. Whenever we see, you open on Sunday also, he was there on the hook. What is the thing that is that addiction here becoming in such a way that every day when he goes for smoke also, he used to check his mails. He used to check his things. He was so addicted to the work in such a way that even in the family also, whatever for his kids for schooling dropping also, he used to assign to someone, you go on behalf of me, please. I have a work, he used to tell us. What is the thing that addiction is the key to stress, why we call it, you say, you take any technology related mobile or anything, no, we addicted so much to, so it is killing us. So guys should take care of all family related thing or health or anything, no, it's more important than other things. Don't be addicted to the one thing or anything which is addictive, which will kill us. Please be aware of those kind of things and keep the things in your control. Plan your day, plan your work, give time to the family, health. Everything is important. Thank you.
With that we are done and back to ETN.
We have all seen the effect of selecting the topic and doing some brainstorming. And the whole idea of this presentation was brought from a point of view. When I asked our VPE why only one speeches are there some time back for the situation, she said that, sir, people are hesitating, sometimes people are not writing the speeches, there are some issues like this. Somebody said there are topics are not, they don't have topics. So it is from this idea came. This is basically called the ABCD problem. In general, ABCD problem is literacy problem, it looks like, but it stood for something else once upon a time. American born confused basis. But in Toastmaster parlance, it is the member adopt this technique of ABCD. What is that ABCD stands for is that he avoids, he bypasses to somebody else, he will do that, he will do that. And then confuses the issue. I gave the speech, you think you have to give another one? No, am I the only one? Then the delegate. Delegate it to his mentee, for example. So if the mentee has, if the mentor is young and mentee happens to be either an uncle or an auntie, then that mentor is younger. The uncle and aunties will gobble him up because we have deep respect for elders. So whatever they say, the mentor has to listen. So somewhere along it was getting lost. So when this was brought up, even I would say this happens all the time because an anecdote goes in the life of Albert Einstein when he was invited to Harvard University to speak. Big assembly was there and very highly educated ones who are very knowledgeable, and he was given glowing introduction, and then he came from his chair and stood behind the lectern, climbed up the dais, reached the lectern, and he said, I got nothing to say, and goes back and sits in his chair. Then there's a hushed silence, and people start talking to each other. Then, before they could even recover, he comes back again, climbs the dais, goes to the lectern, and says, when I got something to say, I will come and say those things next time. And he goes back and sits there. This can happen to anybody, let alone Albert Einstein, to anybody. So this is mutual support ambience, it helps. Even it happened to Daniel Craig, the one who acts in James Bond movies. The last movie, it is No Time to Die, is that the movie? Yes. And at the end of the whole shooting process, he was told to speak. He said he couldn't get his words in place. And he felt very bad about it. Maybe he was overtaken by the emotion. It's very difficult to say, but he could speak. So if you are ready with this kind of things, a situation comes, you will always be able to position yourself to speak well. So always look for topics which can be used in a safe ambience like this, and it is possible to develop that habit. And the habit development process I have shown. On this note, I would like to hand over the control back to Madam President.
Thank you, Prabhakara. First of all, I would like to thank each and everyone for being present on a Tuesday evening, and a special thanks to our DTM Prabhakara for conducting the educational session, and also a special thanks to Toastmaster Gajendra and Toastmaster Shiva for fruitfully conducting the table topic session today. So meanwhile, the ballots are put on the group. I request everyone to cast your votes. So meanwhile, I would request our guest to give your introduction in 1 or 2 lines about yourself and how you got to know about our club.
Basavaraj, this is my third session. I came to know one of my colleagues told me to join here to improve the leadership skills and speaking skills. So I joined. So then the next week I'm going to be a member of this club.
Have everyone casted your votes in the ballot? Okay, so with that, let's declare the winner for today in the table topics session. So, it's a nice colorful wheel. There was a lot of competition between everyone, and we could see everyone was so competitive and was so enthusiastic in giving each and every table topic. But the winner is Toastmaster Balaji. With that, I request everyone to continue networking downstairs once the meeting is done. And I close meeting number 1311. And I also request the ExCom members to stay back for 5 minutes after the meeting.